Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're diving into some big updates on the Las Vegas Raiders. Currently, the team is standing at 2 wins and 2 losses, and there's been a lot of buzz in the national media lately. The main topic of conversation is, of course, Devonte Adams. Earlier this week, he reportedly requested a trade. Although no deal has been made yet, many sports reporters believe it's just a matter of time before he's gone. The Raiders will have to handle this distraction until a decision is made. It's surprising, really, because this channel started because of Devonte Adams. But right now, if you're not fully committed to this team, if you're not backing this franchise, you're out of the picture. There have been too many dropped passes from Adams, and he seems hesitant on the field, especially when it comes to blocking. Head coach Antonio Pierce even called out some players a few weeks ago, and it looks like Devonte Adams might have been one of those names mentioned. People are looking at this situation and labeling it as typical Raiders drama, but that's not how I see it. Sure, Adams had a strong connection with Derek Carr in the past, but that's all history now. If you watch ESPN, FS1, or read articles on Bleacher Report or The Athletic, you might think this is just more chaos for the Raiders. But I believe there's more to it than that. Before we continue, if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for daily updates on the Raiders and the NFL. Let's aim to get this video to 100 likes. It would mean the world to me. Now, back to the topic. I saw a video from Sanji where he made a great point. Devonte Adams might have already played his last game for the Raiders. Missing back-to-back games doesn't seem like a coincidence. Sanji even referenced Tom Brady's experience with Randy Moss, noting how stressful it was to constantly feel the pressure to feed the star receiver the ball. In recent years, we've seen a pattern with star wide receivers. Names like Stephon Diggs come to mind. They seem to bring a lot of drama with them. I'm not calling out Devonte Adams specifically, but I'll say this to all my Raiders fans watching. If you're not with the team, the coach, or the system, then it's time to move on. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but let's get back to the focus of the video. I read a fantastic article by Vic Tare on The Athletic, highlighting some key insights. The Raiders are 2-2 right now, and they have a big game coming up this Sunday. So let's stay positive and look forward to seeing what the team can accomplish. In just a few days, the Raiders will face off against the Denver Broncos on the road. This is not just any game, it's against a divisional rival with a strong defense. Unfortunately, the Raiders' defense hasn't lived up to expectations this season. Under Patrick Graham, they're allowing 24.3 points per game, which ranks 24th in the NFL. They're also giving up 5.6 yards per play, placing them 24th as well. While their pass defense has been decent, holding opponents to 6.9 yards per attempt, 13th in the NFL, they've struggled tremendously against the run, allowing 5.1 yards per rush, 30th in the NFL. A big part of the problem has been injuries. Malcolm C. tore his ACL, which is one of the most unfortunate injuries for the Raiders this season. Safety Marcus Epps also tore his ACL in Week 3, ending his season. Star defensive end Max Crosby is dealing with a high ankle sprain, and Divine Diablo, a key player for the Raiders, has been out since Week 2 with an oblique injury. With 4 starters out or struggling, it's no surprise the defense has been having a hard time. Then there's Jacorian Bennett, who's been a standout this season. Jack Jones, on the other hand, got benched last week, and while I'm still a big fan of him, his performance has been inconsistent. Head coach Antonio Pierce has done his best to handle these challenges, especially during the tough game against the Carolina Panthers a couple of weeks ago. Switching over to the offense, Gardner Minshew has been filling in at quarterback. While his stats are solid, completing 70.7% of his passes, 6th in the NFL, for 877 yards, his 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions don't paint the whole picture. The offense has struggled with consistency and rhythm. Minshew sometimes holds the ball too long, or the receivers just aren't getting open. He's averaging 7.1 yards per attempt, 18th in the NFL, and only 17.9% of his passes have gone for 15 or more yards, 16th in the NFL. So, while his numbers aren't the worst, they're not quite where the Raiders need them to be. The running game has also been an issue, largely due to the offensive line's health. Last week against the Cleveland Browns, the Raiders finally found some success, rushing for a season-high 152 yards. It wasn't just the usual suspects like Alexander Mattison or Zamir White who will miss this upcoming game. Other players stepped up to contribute. Head coach Getsy emphasized patience during the first month of the season, and it seems to be paying off, with the Raiders pulling off a 26 win against the Browns. While it wasn't the most impressive victory, It was a step in the right direction, considering all the challenges the team has faced, both on and off the field, with the Devonte Adams situation being a major distraction. For now, I'm content with the Raiders' 2-2 start. Up next, they have an important divisional game against the Broncos, followed by a home game against the Steelers. Let's hope they can build some momentum. The Raiders have a challenging schedule coming up. They'll face the Rams on the road, then return home to take on the Kansas City Chiefs, followed by an away game against the Cincinnati Bengals, before finally reaching their bye week. It's tough to predict how things will play out, but I have to give credit to Antonio Pierce for the way he's leading this team. He's brought a no-nonsense attitude to the locker room. Whether you're Devonte Adams or the last man on the roster, you get treated the same way based on your performance and attitude. While I'm not an insider or affiliated with the Raiders, it's clear that Pierce's approach has been effective. As for Devonte Adams, a lot of reports are saying he might have played his last game as a Raider. If that's true, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.